largest island, a massive ice-covered territory shimmering with glaciers and home to walruses and polar bears. For decades, it was a quiet Arctic land, but today it is at the center of a diplomatic firestorm. This is Greenland. US President Donald Trump recently called it a stupid move that the US gave Greenland back to Denmark. But is that actually what happened? Did US ever control Greenland? To find the answers, we need to travel back in time to 1940 when the story actually began. It was during World War II. On April 9, 1940, Nazi Germany launched a fierce attack and conquered Denmark in just 6 hours. This left a question mark over Greenland. It was a Danish colony, but its parent country was now under Hitler's control. The US was not in the war yet, but President Roosevelt was nervous. He knew that if the Nazis put planes or submarines in Greenland, they could easily attack cities like New York or Boston. To stop this, the US made a deal with a diplomat named Henrik Kaufmann. Kaufmann was the Danish ambassador in Washington. When the Nazis took over his government back home, he refused to listen to them. Working in secret with US leaders, Kaufmann signed a deal on April 9, 1941. It was called the Kaufman-Hull Agreement. Under this deal, the US became the official protector of Greenland and got the right to build any military bases they wanted. Almost overnight, Greenland turned into a massive military hub. The US military moved in and built bases with code names like Bluey West 1. But the soldiers weren't just there to keep the Nazis out. They were also guarding a secret treasure at a place called Ivitut. This was a mine for a rare mineral called cryolite. Back then, you could not make aluminium without cryolite, and you couldn't build warplanes without aluminium. So for the US, that mine was as valuable as gold. Also, with Greenland cut off from Europe, the US became the island's vital lifeline, shaping local culture with everything from American supplies to Hollywood movies. The US even trained local hunters to form the Northeast Greenland Sledge Patrol, an elite dog sled unit tasked with hunting down secret Nazi radio stations across the ice. So by the time the war ended, that is in 1945, Greenland was basically being run like an American territory. When Denmark was finally free, Danish government officially accepted the deal Kaufmann made. The US eventually gave daily control back to Denmark, but they never truly left. The wartime deal from 1941 led to a new treaty in 1951, the Danish-American Defense Agreement. This agreement allowed the US to build permanent bases to watch for Soviet threats. And because of that deal, the US still operates the Pitufik Space Base today. But this is also the point where the confusion lies. President Trump says the US gave Greenland back, but legally the US never owned it. Treaties from as far back as 1916 prove the US always recognized Greenland as Danish. So how can you give back something you never legally possessed? The truth is, Trump's interest is just the latest chapter in a 150-year American quest to own Greenland. But the question here is, why is the US so interested in Greenland? Well, as it turns out, there's a lot more to it than just national security. Climate change is rapidly reshaping our world, and the Arctic is heating up 4 times faster than the rest of the planet. In just the last few decades, we have seen ice shrink by 27%, a loss equivalent to an area the size of Libya. This melting ice is creating a shortcut for global trade, bringing 2 major US rivals to Greenland's doorstep, Russia and China. Russia currently leads the Arctic race. Moscow has fortified the area with 30 military bases and nuclear-capable runways to protect the Northern Sea route. For them, this corridor is more than a trade path, as it allows them to bypass Western sanctions and transport oil and gas directly to Asian markets. Meanwhile, China now calls itself a near-Arctic state. China's primary strategy is the Polar Silk Road, a massive infrastructure project that aims to bypass traditional choke points like the Suez Canal. And to make this vision a reality, Beijing is aggressively sending icebreakers into these waters and investing billions in Greenland's mining sectors. And this is worrying the United States. But that's not all. Greenland sits on some of the world's largest deposits of rare earth minerals, ranking 8th globally. These minerals are like vitamins of modern technology, and currently China dominates 90% of the processing for these minerals. For the US, securing Greenland's mines is about breaking that monopoly and ensuring America isn't dependent on a rival for the technology of tomorrow. This is why the talk about buying Greenland has moved from a real estate joke to a national security priority. With Russia building bases and China eyeing the minerals, the US views Greenland as a shield that it cannot afford to lose. What are your thoughts on this? Do comment and let us know. And for more such videos, stay tuned with India TV.